It's a real honor to be with you. I love this time together, the opportunity to sit in a circle together, but also to contemplate deeper concepts, riffing, if you will. So today, we're going to be connecting to the concept of manifestation as it relates to money, which I think is an important topic because on the spiritual path, you see lots of funny stuff around money. In an honest and earnest attempt to transmute the ego and the attachments and the ego's needs. And so it's honorable to be on the path of releasing attachment to money, right? Because that's not the point of life. And we all who are on the path know money is not the point of life. Money enables that which our soul desires. Money follows our intention. And I went into prayer and meditation today because I was like, there are just too many cliches taught spiritually about money. There are just too many cliches. So I thought I would teach with some examples. I'll start with my example. I use my trip to California a lot, my move to California, because it was a multi-layered manifestation of the family and the family's interests. But it was also a financial leap and a financial leap of faith. One that was based in some reality and another that was based in potential. And so there's a certain amount of trust that happens when you know your soul is being called somewhere. But in the physical realm, there is absolutely not a lineup between what your soul is telling you to go do and what your financial situation can afford in that moment, right? So there's a gap very often. And I sit in conversation with people a lot in that gap of like, soul says this, financial situation, the what is in the physical realm, really important. We have to be connected to the physical realm. It's how we function in the world, right? Physical realm says this, soul says this, and we have a gap analysis between the as is and the to be. Having been a management consultant, this is how my mind works. Now, in there is often fear, which creates resistance, which creates an inability to create the vibration of allowing, which is how we receive abundance, right? So financial situation is what is, soul moving in this direction. So this is often the situation many of us are in, right? The as is this. The desire is this. Is this soul desire grounded in some level of reality? Does that make sense? So if I'm making 15K a year, and I'm drumming up a vibration of $1 million next year, is that based in how cause and effect generally works on this planet? Maybe, but we do need to keep reality as part of our manifestation, right? We need to be based in some level of cause and effect and the market and the niche we're in and things. That doesn't mean we're limited by it, but we at least have an awareness of it. And I don't mean to be a damper on things, but I think so much of the manifestation work is not really based in grounded reality. So that doesn't mean that you have to be stuck in grounded reality. It just means that a good working or sense of reality and how finances work and how money is earned and what energy and time it takes for this This is information because we live in the physical realm. We're not moving from the third dimension into the fifth dimension and departing the third dimension. That is a misnomer in our spiritual communities. We are physical beings that live in a fourth dimensional infrastructure of society. And it's so important that we be grounded there and that we learn how to move in that space through manifestation and spiritual tools. And it is possible, but it takes time, persistency, trust, allowance, a mindset of abundance, persistency, ease versus suffering. So there are general principles that I want to bring to the table here. And I could do a whole day workshop on this. So I'm looking at 15 or 20 minutes. How do I summarize this piece? Money follows intention. So I had a desire to move to California. Houses in California are literally 5 times the cost of upstate New York. There was that reality. There was also the reality that I was only making $15,000 a year consulting, creating a mindfulness program at Skidmore College. Doing what I love, teaching yoga. It was amazing. I was working a lot. So what is and what I desired were incongruent at the time. That didn't mean I said, well, forget that. It just took me 8 years to manifest that. So what does that look like? Holding the desire, holding the vision, getting really clear. Okay, what is it that I want? I want to be in service. I want to literally change the face of trauma healing on this planet. I want to serve in a big way. I want to transform people's lives. I want to live in California. I want to walk on the beach on my days off. I want to make money. I'm sick of making $15,000 a year. I have a master's degree. I used to be a management consulting, making $100K a year. Why am I making $15K? What's going on here, Kim? So the vision was service and California and abundance to support the vision of healing the world of trauma and California. I wanted sunshine. I wanted access to the beach. It was a nice to have. Was it necessary? Well, at the time it was necessary, which caused resistance and made it take longer. Because it was a need. And anytime we have a need, get me the hell out of here, it creates resistance in that which we are manifesting. So I kept following this desire, building fundamental beliefs. Is it possible for me to make money and heal the world and live in California? Do I believe in abundance? So is it possible? Is it possible to even have a successful coaching and healing business? Well, when I looked out in the world, I saw a lot of struggling coaches. It didn't really look possible. If I looked at other people's businesses, it didn't look possible. It looked like a lot of work and not a lot of return on that investment. So I had to build possibility. Well, damn, if someone could be a multimillionaire putting Coca-Cola out in the world, then obviously spiritual work that heals the world could bring in. It's possible. It's possible that creating an impact, a huge impact in the world could have a return on investment. It's possible. Does it feel inevitable? It didn't feel inevitable at first. I had to build the possibility that one could support themselves in a great way. Does that make sense? It didn't feel possible It felt so far-fetched. Did I believe Abraham Hicks? Did I believe that it's all get on my high-flying disc and abundance going to come? Did I really believe and think in terms of abundance? I don't know. I had a favorite dress that I was waiting for that special day, or I yell at my kids for not using too many paper towels, right? No, I did not have abundance mindset. And you could see it in the way that I was like, don't use too much or we're going to run out. The mindset wasn't built within me. Is there enough? Am I enough? Do I have enough? I needed to feel the enoughness in every moment of every day in order to create a future experience of enough. Did I feel like I deserved it? Like I was deserving of it? Well, I got a strong will chakra. That was not a hard one for me. So, do you believe that you're worthy of what you desire, that you deserve it? That's a really heated, people have a hard time with deserving. It doesn't mean we're entitled to it without working and earning. It's just, are we worthy of what we desire? Everything that we desire. Are we worthy of that energy exchange in the world? Do I feel worthy of that? Did I trust the universe? Or did I have self-doubt? Or did I doubt that divine even was going to follow through with me? Did I believe in myself? Did I trust myself? I didn't. At the time, I didn't. I didn't trust that I could have one-to-one connection with people without destroying the relationships. This was my personal work. I didn't trust that I could consistently work. I worked in spurts, but could I consistently show up? I didn't trust my skills. I didn't even have all the skills yet. How could I trust them? I was taking course after certification after course, building my toolbox so that eventually I could get the data and trust my skill and trust myself. And I didn't stop doing that when there was this discrepancy. I was consistently building the data set that I could do this or that this works. And I consistently put myself out there for free. Even though I wanted abundance, I did it to build the data set, not because I devalued myself, but because I needed data. I needed to know that when I met with someone, they were going to be better on the other side. That when I worked their trauma, they were going to feel less traumatized. That when I said I was going to help them with depression, that their depression was lifted. So a lot of trust is about building a data set, which gets to the next piece. Although let me pause and just say, do I trust divine? Do I trust that there is an energy, a frequency, an angel guides doing it with me? Do I trust that I'm not doing this alone, this world? Do I trust that there's a higher part of myself on the other side of the veil going, hey, go that way, do that? Did I trust that? And with that, building of data sets, and I talk about this a lot in our level 1 work, we have to collect the data, right? We need data sets. Otherwise, it's faith, blind faith. But once we start to gather data of, I made this impact. Okay, ego mind, write that down. And I helped co-create this miracle. Okay, ego mind, even though you don't know the cause and effect of it, write that down. Or, oh, I just transmuted a huge lineage issue and now it's not showing up in my daughter anymore. Oh, okay, write that down. Why? Because the left brain is very logical and needs a data set. so that when you're in the moment, and I will tell you, like when I'm in the moment, I'm like, oh, we need to send violet flame into this. My left brain is like, what the hell is that going to do? Even after all these years, my left brain here to keep me, my ego mind here to keep me safe is like, what the hell is that little thing going to do? Why? Because it needs a data set. So then I've got the possibility. I'm starting to trust myself. I'm starting to trust divine. I believe in abundance. I don't believe I need to be and not enough. I believe I'm worthy. But getting the data set and doing it because I loved it, doing it because I would be wanting to do this anyway, charging very little because I might as well be doing the thing I love because I'm going to eventually be here. So doing it, I might not be getting this money. I was doing it for free. And then I was doing it for a donation. And then I was doing it for $60. I was doing it really to have the experience and build the data set. And because I loved doing it, I was doing what I loved. And what I learned through inspired action is that that created a momentum. I didn't know this at the time. I now understand this, but it created what we call critical mass momentum. I was already doing it. And so then came the imposter syndrome of starting to charge for what I was already doing and what I already had a data set and what I already felt confident and comfortable and had energetic momentum around. You see, I didn't sit here and say, oh, I want to make $50,000 a year and sit here because that wasn't going to get me closer to here. It wasn't going to make me feel more confident or more deserving or more trusting or feel more possibility. I didn't sit and wait. I started doing it. And I didn't start charging for it until I felt confident that what I was charging was absolutely worth that and more. That is a really critical part of my path. I started charging when I was like, oh man, I'd pay 3 times this for what I'm giving. And I'm not saying everybody has to do that, but that's how I felt really clear. And I'm going to be honest with you, my human emotion of resentment is what indicated that I wasn't charging enough. Like someone would have this huge life transformation and I'd be like, oh, that was a deal. And I'd feel like, oh, I should have been paid more. Like I was having human emotion. I use that as my internal guidance system of like, oh, you're not, the value of what you're delivering is not matching what you're charging anymore. So the human emotion, I don't buy the resentment. I don't ride that wave. I'm like, oh, what is that sensation in my body that's telling me something's out of alignment? Oh, there's an inconsistency. So here I am. What is? And then I start systematic, inspired action, doing the thing I want to ultimately be doing, building myself into that space. And I was doing it through teacher training. So now at this point, I start making money. I run a 200-hour yoga teacher training. 27 people signed up. It was the hugest leap from making $15,000 a year. 27 people signed up at I charged $2,500. I held them over 3 months. And then what happened was curriculum was developed in that experience. And then afterwards, I wrote a book, my first book, Awaken Your Potency. I don't know. When you write a book, people all of a sudden think you're legitimate. I don't know why. It's funny. It's like a big dissertation. Go write a book. Everyone says, I want to write a book. Okay, just every day, write a chapter. Every month, write a chapter. It's not really, it wasn't hard for me. But I have a lot of pitta. Okay, so I'm here. I'm making $15K. Creating a mindfulness program for Skidmore College. It was so cool and purposeful. And then people start asking me, So I have this vision, I'm practicing that. People ask me, will you do a yoga teacher training? I love your style of yoga. Okay. So then 27 people sign up at like $2,000 or $2,500. Holy crap. I couldn't believe it. And what happened there? It was literally the most life-changing experience that we all ever experienced. In fact, everyone that was in that room, it was at the Skidmore Chapel, literally felt like we were in multidimensional spaces. But I didn't teach enough asana. Kind of focused on all of the deep spiritual transformation stuff. And I realized I don't want to teach asana. There's plenty of people out there teaching asana. So, okay, clarity. I don't care about how you're warrior two. Like, I just care that you're having a blissful samadhi experience. I don't care if your knee is over your ankle. I mean, it should be to be safe, but okay. So here I am. Here's my dream. And I up-leveled tremendously. And then I wrote a book. And then from there, I realized, oh, I don't really want to be teaching yoga teacher trainings. I want to bring this transformative inner alignment work that just got birthed out of me having fun in a room with a ton of like amazing goddesses and this great man, right? So I want to do more of that. And so I write a book and I'm like, I'm going to bring this online. So then I invested $20,000 to learn how to do this online. And then I went into construction and I had to work every imposter syndrome, fear, and freak out. And it was like literally a year of crying and challenging myself and feeling like I was going to die, to up-level myself to the point where I could say, my program cost is this, and I'm going to do this. And this is the result you're going to get at the end. Holy cow, I felt like I was going to die. It took me probably 6 to 9 months to even up-level into the space. Who the hell am I? Who am I to think I could say that? Now, mind you, all of my spiritual practices, my pranayama, I am up-leveling spiritually, doing all of my work. So that income got spent on all kinds of spiritual, energetic, myofascial release. Not a lot of income there. Does that make sense? Really, I was just investing in myself and growing and investing in myself and doing what I love and thinking it's possible and investing. And I know many of you are doing that too. You go from certification to certification and you're learning and you're up-leveling. Do you have this in place? Or are you over-focused on the how? There's a chapter in my first book. The how is not your business. I had no freaking clue. If you knew who I was and I was doing yoga teacher trainings, I was the laziest person you could ever meet. I was not a fitness person. But Divine said, okay, go this route. It was funny, actually. And I was injured all the time. So my body was saying, other people can do this, but you, my friend, you can't do this. So I was challenged and I was challenged. And after a year of failing and flailing and trying to get my program up and running, this is like a story of about a 5-year trajectory. And I was moving through lifetimes of karma in those 5 years, lifetimes. Every big fat fear faced, major work on myself until finally it came through. And I started to actually make profit and be able to pay for my kids' private schools. Like I wasn't like in surplus, but I could actually contribute to the family income. Why? Because I believed it was possible. I trusted that this intention's a good intention and that the universe and the divine is going to support me and show up for me because I am doing this from a soul intention, the soul intention to heal the world of its suffering. And it was intact and it was clear. It wasn't the focus on money. Money just was enabling all of these amazing things, this vision. I worked my scarcity into a space and a vibration every moment of every day, into what abundance feels like with paper towels and my nice dresses. Silly things, little things, in my language with my kids, in my enoughness. I trusted that I deserved and was worthy of what I desired, even if I didn't see it in many places. I took action. Every freaking day, I put myself out there. I faced a fear. I made myself really uncomfortable all the time for 5 years, like every cell of my body screaming. And I worked that fear. At the same time, I had a high-risk kid. If you saw my recent post on Facebook, I had a high-risk kid that I was I was responsible for making sure she ate or she could die. So I was working my inner fears, my personal fears of being a bad mother of these 3 toddlers that I was raising at the time. I was working it on every ankle. I took inspired action. There are 2 more things that I haven't mentioned. I took the inspired action, getting the momentum, building it, doing it because I loved it, not because of the money, not for the money, but for the people, for the reason, because I loved it, because it was an expression of who I was and who I am. But 2 more things. I worked my fear and my need for things to be hard, and the suffering. I allowed things to get easy, even when they were really hard, because it was hard. It was hard. It was hard the whole time, honestly. It was a really hard time in my life. But I allowed ease in my breath, in my moments. Even when I was busy, I learned how to bring ease into the busy so my suffering, which creates resistance, could release. Took me a lot. I was a big sufferer. I had a girlfriend in college and we would sit and eat French fries with gravy and suffer together. That was like our favorite pastime. The last was I was responsible for my vibration, and I honored that everything in front of me was a reflection of my karma from like 5 lifetimes ago, maybe, or my vibration. And with that, I owned everything that showed up and I worked it within myself in order to vibrate something different externally. That's a lot of learning of cause and effect. A lot of learning of cause and effect. I'm still a big student of cause and effect and of my vibration and what I'm manifesting and what is showing up. And I'm curious about it. I don't punish myself. Like, oh, damn it, Kim, you just screwed that up. And now look at what you created. No, because that would be suffering. That would be self-punishment. I'm like, wow, really messed that one up. Gotta go clean up on aisle 4. I'm sorry. I love you. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I cleaned it up. I took responsibility. I cleaned it up some more, and I built humility. And humility is a big part of this. Seeing your worth and knowing it and getting humbled. And the more my vibration rose, as the more I would bring myself into a higher vibration, the more I'd get. I had someone the other day say this on a phone with me, bitch slapped by the universe if I wasn't in alignment. It's almost like the higher my vibration got and the higher in service I got, if I was just a little off base in my intention or my vibration, the universe would just not hesitate to whack me upside the head and be like, careful there, which was my request. God, don't let me ever take someone's power away. Don't let me act like a guru. Don't let me act like I've got this life figured out. Don't let me take all the power in the room, because I've seen in many spiritual communities and many personal growth programs, I've watched someone be elevated and fall. And I'm like, I don't want that. I'd like to be sitting in my corner of my world, eating humble pie every day if I have to. I kept my intention clear. I practiced the vibration of it every single day. And I still do. I do my work every day. Everything I teach in my level 1, I still do every day. Why? Because it's not a set it and forget it. Nothing in that story that I just shared was like, oh, I set the vibration and I sit back and one day. It hasn't been that way for me. It hasn't been a like, set it and forget it. There were moments of holding a vision, but inspired action was there. Responsibility, introspection, going back to the yamas and the niyamas. Those yogis know what they were talking about. Patanjali, like seriously, way before his time. So, what is your relationship to work? What is your relationship to abundance? What is your relationship to just go do what you love and teach what you love? Do you think, I'm sorry to be all Jesus-y, do you think Jesus was like, I'm waiting for my audience to show up here? I've got a teaching. No, he just started talking about love. And people were like, oh, that's kind of cool. I like his vibration, right? Not to say I'm Jesus or any of us are, I mean, we are all whatever, right? But go preach, go to the grocery store and tell people what you love and tell people what you're thinking about. Go teach a pop-up yoga class, but please go do it. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about how one day you're going to do it. Do you know, I launched my first program. I didn't actually have my program developed yet. Holy leap of frickin' faith. Do you know what it looked like? I had 12 people. We were going to do this work. And on Monday, I would get the download of what it was. On Tuesday, I would create the slides. On Wednesday, I would film the videos. On Thursday, I would edit the videos. By Friday, the videos went out to my clients. Holy leap of faith. What if I didn't get the download on Monday? What if I couldn't? What if? I trusted that if these 12 people showed up, that whatever needed to come through would come through, because it's not about me. And this is the most important point, and this is what we'll close on. It's not about me. It's about me being an instrument of service, of divine and sacred service. It's not about me. It's not about whether people like me. It's not about whether people want to include me or talk about me or talk negatively. It's not about me. Our service is not about us. So if we can take the me out of it and just go be whatever we love, that is life purpose. And if we're doing life purpose and we tag into it, and I'd like to make some money doing this too, that intention needs to be clear. The universe will be like, sure, of course. Go do what you love. Go change the world. Here's some compensation for that. Why wouldn't they? Like if I was working at a tech company and I was putting my effort there, I'd be paid. Like what's the block? It wasn't about me. It was about my desire to serve. There was a point where I was like, I got to have a baby. I have a baby that's about to come out. It's like burning inside of me. And if it doesn't come out, I'm going to implode. That wasn't about me, even though it was, right? Does that make sense? Do you see that paradox? Like, yes, I am a part of it, but there's something bigger that I want to move through me. And the money will follow if you ask for it. So I hope this was tangible. I hope this is relatable. I hope this inspires you to be possible and abundant and feel like enough and let things be easy and abundant and inspired action and work the heck on yourself. I love you. We'll do a meditation on this soon. And if you'd like a meditation, go to my SoundCloud. There's lots of manifestation meditations there as well. Many blessings, you guys.